Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com coming to you with our Friday video here. You know, when I decided to parlay is not really the best idea. I'm sure most of you already know that. I certainly know that. But decided that maybe we'll change the format up a little bit here for this Friday video. Let's call it the Friday Football Frenzy, at least for now, while we've got the football season still going on. I'll run through the entire Week 16 NFL card, give you my thoughts and picks for every one of those games here on that card coming up this weekend. Go ahead and make sure I've got the totals up on my odds screen here as well. We got a big week here in Week 16. Lots of games with playoff implications, and of course, we got a big weekend, I should say, going on over at BangTheBook.com. Danny Vorks' NFL power rating 60% here on the season with the picks and leans. You want to make sure that you're checking that out. I just put up my daily fantasy tips for Week 16. We got best bets from Admir. We've got top NFL betting trends. We'll have Alan Moody's 3-pack of picks. Lots of good stuff over at BangTheBook.com. Make sure you check it out here for Week 16. If you missed the Friday edition of Bang the Book Radio or haven't had a chance to check it out yet, gave out my Super Contest picks for Week 16 for the Bang the Book podcast entry. Then we also heard from Brent over at DSI Sportsbook with this week's version of the Odds Report, telling us where the sharp money is in both the college football bull market and also here for NFL Week 16. A couple of really strong segments today. You want to make sure that you check those out. All right, let's go ahead and go over our Friday Football Frenzy here. And again, like I said, I think it's a much better idea than the parlay video that I was originally thinking about doing. Instead, we'll just roll right on through the NFL card here. We'll start on Saturday. We got game 107-108. Washington takes on Tennessee. Updated line right now, Tennessee a 10-point favorite out there in the marketplace. Total of 37.5. So a very low total for this game, in the same range where Washington and Jacksonville was last week, and that game did stay under the total in that one. Obviously for Washington, not a whole lot to get excited about with Josh Johnson and all the injuries that they have. For Tennessee, not much margin for error this week. They definitely need this game with what's going on in that wild card hunt. They will win this game. I certainly believe that that will be the case. Can you lay 10 points though? I don't know if you can. I think it's a very tough spot to lay 10 with Tennessee, an offense that's not really a offense that gets a lot of margin, a defense that's decent, but not really a suffocating type of defense. So if I had to play anything here on that first game in Week 16, I'd probably take Washington plus the 10. But one of the nice things about the NFL card, and the nice thing about betting in general, just because a line is posted doesn't mean you have to do anything with it. Got a little bit stronger of an opinion here for the Saturday night game between Baltimore and the Los Angeles Chargers here. This is one I did talk about on my Super Contest segment on Bang the Book Radio. Chargers a 4-point favorite market wide, total down from 45 to 42 here. I do like the Los Angeles Chargers in this spot. Short week for Baltimore. Best defense that Lamar Jackson has seen here so far this year. I ran through the reasons why on that segment, so please make sure that you go and listen to that. But I do like the Chargers here. Again, I know this Baltimore defense is very good, but it's a multifaceted offensive attack for the Chargers. They can beat you with the run, now that they're a little bit healthier with Melvin Gordon likely coming back. They can beat you with the pass with Phillip Rivers and a lot of guys that can stretch the field a little bit. I'll take the Chargers here in this spot. Long travel, short week for Baltimore. I'll take them minus the 4. Obviously, if this game gets back up to 4.5, don't love it as much at that point. But the Chargers minus 4 would be what I'm looking at there in that Saturday night game. We transition over to Sunday. First game on the board here, Tampa Bay and Dallas. Dallas a 7-point favorite, pretty much market wide. There are some 7.5s out there. Total on this game up from 46 to 48. I think the over is in play for this game if this Tampa Bay offense, can get things going. But I do like Dallas minus the 7 in this one from a side standpoint. They can run the ball. The passing game is much more effective with Amari Cooper now. And for Tampa Bay, obviously, look, they get Deshaun Jackson back. That should help them this week on offense. But Dirk Cotter's gone. The rest of the coaching staff is gone. Maybe they move on from Jameis Winston. There are some guys that are playing for some offseason paper. There are some guys that are playing for some jobs on this team. But I think Dallas, with everything that they have to do here, all the business they need to take care of, defense should show up, running game should show up. I'll take Dallas minus the 7 in that one. And again, keep in mind here, I'm running through all the games for Week 16. Not all of these are really strong plays. I'll let you know when one of them is a strong play. Game 103-104 here, Buffalo and New England. New England up to a 13.5 point favorite. Total on this game down from 45.5 to 44.5 or 44. I got to take Buffalo in this spot. They're getting a big chunk of points with a very good defense. A Patriots team that doesn't really look too mobilized to blow out anybody right now. In the first meeting here, the Bills gave the Patriots a couple of short fields. Patriots had one decent touchdown drive, had a pick six that allowed them to cover the game and put some cosmetic touches on the scoreboard. I just don't see New England as a team ready to blow somebody out. Not a Buffalo team that's going to show up this week with the defense that the Bills have. I can't pass on the 13.5, but I certainly understand why the market coming in on New England a little bit here. Atlanta and Carolina, game 105-106. This is one of the games I do like. From a contest standpoint, it's Carolina plus 3.5. I still like the plus 3 that's out there in the market right now. I guess it's a massive overreaction because Cam Newton has not been healthy all season long. I don't think it's a 6-point adjustment or a 6.5-point adjustment like it was at some places with Cam Newton out. Taylor Heineke's been practicing with the number ones. The team seems excited to have him back there behind center because now they can actually throw a forward pass past the sticks. I think Carolina has some fun here this weekend. I don't think Atlanta is all that good of a team defensively. I don't think Atlanta's all that good offensively either. Obviously, they're going outside now. I'll take Carolina here, one of my stronger plays of the weekend, getting that plus 3. Jacksonville and Miami, game 109-110. Miami down to a 3.5 point favorite here. Total on this game in the 38 range. A lot of low totals over the last couple of weeks, but obviously this one's justified. Jacksonville's offense is pathetic. Defense still pretty decent. Miami not really all that potent of an offense. Did score a decent number of points last week against New England, or 2 weeks ago against New England. Scored, they battled back in that game last week against the Vikings. I give them credit for that. In this particular spot here, now that we're down below 4, I have to look at Miami. I just don't think Jacksonville's going to score enough points in this game to really make it all that competitive. Cody Kessler in this offense just not really firing on all cylinders. Miami maybe found something last week with Kalen Ballage. Kenyon Drake, obviously, a solid running back as well. Ryan Tannehill is limited, but probably still better than some of the other options that they've used over the last couple of years, like a Matt Moore or a Brock Osweiler or something like that. Take Miami minus 3.5. Don't love this game at all. But if I had to take something for a pick'em contest or something like that, Miami would be the side for me. Giants and Indianapolis here. Indianapolis, 9.5 point favorite pretty much across the market. You've got some 9s, a couple of 10s, but 9.5, pretty much the prevailing number there for this one. Total on this game in the 48 range. Odell Beckham Jr. not going to play for the Giants. It doesn't look like big time loss for them. This still feels like an overinflated number, but it's obviously hard to take the Giants with how the offense looked last week without Beckham. Sterling Shepard dinged up as well. Yeah, they still have Saquon Barkley, but this Colts defense really, really improving by leaps and bounds here for this season. So I think one thing you can look to do, if you can find a stray 9 here, do a 6.5 point teaser, take Indianapolis down to 2.5, find another game to pair with it, and I'll look through the card here and see if I find one as we're going through the segment. But maybe that's the best play on this game. Indianapolis should win, obviously. That's what the line's suggesting, and they have a lot more to play for. But when it comes to covering a big number here, I don't know. I'm not sure I want to trust the Colts with such a big look-ahead spot next week for that game against Tennessee. Of course, they have to take care of business this weekend and get some help from Baltimore, and that's a big thing too. That Baltimore game really can dictate a lot of what happens on Sunday. So it's a little bit hard to do this on Friday and kind of speculate what may happen in some of these earlier games. But I do think if you can find a teaser partner with Indianapolis down from 9 into the 2.5 range, that's really the best play on that game. Houston and Philadelphia. Philadelphia 1.5 point favorite here. I like Houston in this situation. This feels like an overreaction. Maybe the Eagles are that much better with Nick Foles, but this one feels like an overreaction. Texans are still a decent team. I know they have some signs of regression, and some of them have hit here over the last couple of weeks, but feels like an overreaction line here with Philadelphia. I'll take Houston. We'll just go ahead and take them on the money line instead of taking that +1 or +1.5 there in that game. Game 115-116, Minnesota 6 point favorite on the road at Detroit. This isn't an optimal teaser by any means, but if you need a pairing for that 6.5-point teaser with Indianapolis, maybe you tease Minnesota down to a very small dog. Obviously, it's basically just a pick-em situation. They should win this game against Detroit. They should take care of business. Kirk Cousins is terrible against good teams, pretty good against bad teams. Detroit's not a very good team at all. So Minnesota should take care of this one. As far as the number of 6, I got to take the Vikings in this spot. Matt Stafford is not healthy. The Vikings, great third down defense, very good in the red zone. They've underachieved this season. I think it's time for the Minnesota Vikings to really put forth one of those complete efforts. I would lay it with them this week if you had to do something on that game. Go to Green Bay and the Jets, game 117, 118. Oof, ugly game here. Aaron Rodgers wants to be a leader, wants to go out there and play. I can't fault him for that. The Jets, we have no idea what we're going to get week in and week out from the Jets. I would take the under here. Under 46.5 the way I would look. The Packers just not as explosive this season. Aaron Rodgers hasn't been as explosive. They don't have Aaron Jones to get big chunks of yardage on the ground. And obviously for Sam Darnold, turnovers are a problem. Misfires are a problem. I like the under in that game there, 46.5. We'll move down the card. Let's go to game 119, 120. Cincinnati and Cleveland. The Browns, 9-point favorites here. They haven't been a 9-point favorite since the 2010 season. The total on this game, 44. Very hard to take the Bengals because they just don't have a whole lot to work with right now. No A.J. Green, no Tyler Boyd. Joe Mixon spent some time hurt this year. No Andy Dalton. They've got some defensive injuries as well. This is just not really an ideal situation. Perhaps the Browns on a 6.5-point teaser down from 9 to 2.5. That may be your teaser right there. If you find a book that's got a couple of 9s for the Colts and the Browns, 2 teams, 6.5-point teaser with the Colts and the Browns, I think the way to go here with any teaser options this week. Not a whole lot of very good teaser lines out there for us to take advantage of in the NFL. But I think Colts and Browns teased 6.5 points to 2.5 would be the optimal teaser that I'd be looking at here this weekend. As far as the straight line goes, I would take the Bengals in a pick'em contest just because this is a historical outlier line for the Browns, but obviously very difficult to take them. Rams and Arizona, game 121, 122 as we go to the 4 o'clock games here. I like the Cardinals in this one. They're getting 14.5 points in this one. I know this number is going up a little bit here, but the Rams don't look like a team mobilized to blow somebody out. Todd Gurley's still hurt. Passing game still hurt with Cooper Kupp and the injury that he suffered. Jared Goff doesn't look great. I know the Cardinals are a bad team, but you can run a little bit on the Rams here. I think David Johnson should be able to do a little bit of that for the Cardinals here this weekend. I think they should be able to move the football a little bit on the ground, and if nothing else, chew up a little bit of clock, keep this game from getting too far out of hand, like the Cardinals getting the 14.5 here in that one. Chicago, San Francisco, the Bears, 4-point road favorites in San Francisco. Saw a ton of money hit the board on the 49ers last week. They won in overtime over the Seahawks. I think this is a very tough spot for the Bears. I've talked about looking for a flat spot for Chicago on Bang the Book Radio. A lot of people saying, what about the Giants game? Yeah, but that was back-to-back starts for Chase Daniel. They gave up a pick 6 to open the scoring. It was just a really weird type of game for the Bears there. I think a complete bad effort is probably coming at some point. Maybe it's this week. I would take the 49ers plus the 4. Was much nicer at 4.5 or 5 earlier in the week. But if I had to do something again for a pick'em contest or something like that, would be looking at the 49ers in that one. Pittsburgh and New Orleans. New Orleans, 5.5, actually 6-point favorite market wide here on this one. Were some 5.5s yesterday. Pittsburgh, total 53 for this game. For Pittsburgh, we'll see if James Conner's able to give it a go. Doesn't really seem like he's going to be able to with the latest injury reports. Juju Smith-Schuster also dealing with a little bit of a soft tissue injury now. So I look at this game, and I do still like Pittsburgh. I think for New Orleans, this is a win-and-get-out kind of game. You don't jeopardize Drew Brees with that Pittsburgh pass rush. You can move the football on Pittsburgh if they don't get to the quarterback. I don't think the Saints want to take that chance. I think Pittsburgh really has to go all out in this game. Obviously, that Baltimore game on Saturday night affects them as well. I'll take Pittsburgh plus the 6. This is one of the plays I do like a little bit more from a side standpoint here with Pittsburgh, getting 6 down in the Big Easy. Kansas City and Seattle. Kansas City 2.5-point favorite. We're starting to see some threes pop out there as well. Not a big surprise. Seattle is not a team that the market has liked week in and week out this season. Big fade against them last week. Money came in on the Vikings a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Football. Not really surprised to see money coming in here on the Chiefs. What I like about this game is the total of 54.5. I'd look to go over the total here. You can run the football on the Chiefs. I think Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, all those guys in the running back room there for Seattle, I think they can move the ball. I think Russell Wilson can move the ball. We know Pat Mahomes can move the ball on anybody. The Chiefs have had a lot of success against cover 3 this year. Seattle plays a lot of cover 3. I think both teams move the football. I think this is exactly the primetime game the NFL wants. 2 good teams, high ratings, and a lot of scoring. So I'll take the over 54.5 here up in the Pacific Northwest. Finally, Monday Night Football. I know this isn't the weekend, but F it, we'll go ahead and do it anyway. Denver is a 3-point favorite against Oakland. Like the Oakland Raiders quite a bit here this week. +3, sprinkle the money line. I think Denver's done. I think they're dead in the water. Vance Joseph going to be replaced. And Oakland at home, their last couple home games, played right with Kansas City and beat Pittsburgh outright. Could be the last game for the Raiders in the city of Oakland here. Who knows where they wind up next year. And then obviously in 2 years, they'll be out in Las Vegas. So I think the Raiders really show up in this spot. I'll take them +3 and on the money line to wrap up Week 16. So I know I ran a little bit long here with this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully you isolate some of these plays that you really like here this weekend. Again, I think my favorite plays of the weekend would be Carolina +3, Raiders +3, that 6.5-point teaser with Indianapolis and Cleveland, and then probably looking at something like the under in the Green Bay Jets game. I don't think it's a great weekend for betting the NFL, but for our Friday Football Frenzy video here, wanted to cover all of these Week 16 matchups. So head over to BangTheBook.com, check out Bang the Book Radio, a lot of great resources for you, and go ahead and bang the books this weekend. So thank you very much for listening, everybody. I'm Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com.